Okay, so today we'll start with custom button first. Okay, so how to create a custom button with background as image or something, right? We'll first see that part and then let me create a new activity. Let me call it as custom button activity. Click on finish. Fine. Yeah, fine. So here, so custom button activity again, right? It's the same, like we'll be just getting the button here. The only difference what we are going to do here is, so we'll be taking background. There is some thing called background, right? So we'll be setting the background of the button, right? And it will automatically take the image, right? Or it's we are talking about background now because we'll be checking out something called how to set a different background of button, right? We'll also see styling. You can also do something called styling or different control. So when we actually move to the segment called styles and different value folders, right? So at that point I'll show you how to apply CSS kind of thing, like cascading style of thing, which is styles in our application. Fine. So as of now, let me show you how we can actually set the background. Now, first, in order to set the background, right? So let's take an example of images. So I have downloaded some few images. I've kept it ready, right? So let me just copy these two images, and so you can see here you can actually place images in any one of these drawers, right? So because the image is a resource, right? So image is a resource and you want to keep resource file anywhere in your under the resource folder. So under the resource folder we basically keep the raw files like resource files, or we'll see the videos or audios, few things, right? Under different folders like drawable, right. We have values, right? We have different folders, right? But as we are talking about image, right? So we have to keep in any one of these drawables. Now, if you are confused to where exactly to actually place it, right? Don't worry. Just create one drawable folder here. Keep the name as drawable. New folder as drawable under resource, right? Let's say we are creating drawable. So we don't have any limitation for this. You can actually copy any image as such, any image in the sense, any pixel image, or it can be an icon, small image, or anything you can copy. So based on the size of pixels and based on the density per inch, right, Android will actually render the image. Okay. So let me click on finish. Now let me go back and copy these two buttons. So I just gave name as BTN and BT2. I just downloaded it from internet, right? Now how can I access this drawable folder in order to set my background, right? Now again, if you want to actually access any of the folders, right, inside this resource, right? Yeah, right. You can see that there is only one drawable file here, one drawable accessor here, right, which will actually give access to all. If I select this control space, you can see I'm getting BT1, BT2, and now I'm also getting IC launcher. So Sandhya is asking, so we should always create a drawable folder and copy. Yes, better do. And if you know that okay, your image is going to be in one of these density pixel per inch, then it's fine. Otherwise, you can just create a default one drawable and you can paste it, right? Even you can see even in values, right? You have so many, right? You have different versions of that, and you have one folder of values, right? You can create anything. That's fine. Fine. So here, let me select some button, right? Now, if you go back in graphical layout, now itself you will see that okay, your button have been clicked, right? Now, don't give any text here, right? So that you will actually get it done. Now you can actually change the size now, right? It will actually get it to resized. Anyways, don't worry about that. you can actually resize that with respect to image. Fine. And remaining things will be same. So let's go to class again. Let us handle how we can actually handle the button click again. So button click will be again same way. So let us take a button. So it will be lobj_btn is equal to find view by id r dot, you have your id dot. So let's take this as something called btn custom, something custom. So let's go back and just do btn custom, right? So let me cast it up. Now I'm gonna handle the event listener for this. So which is my lobj_btn dot set on click listener, where I'm going to select my on click listener here, which I'll get my on click, and here I'm going to import my view. And so in my on click, let us create a toast dot of make text application context, just say clicked on button something, and the duration take it as toast dot long dot show. Okay. Now this is how you can actually create the same listener will be same for your custom button too, but yes, now this is a concept how you can actually get the background. Now if you are proficient enough with Adobe Photoshop and all, right, you can actually draw your own button, gradient colored buttons and all, and it will be applied to the background. Fine. Now let us run this. Now basically always try to get images, right, which are of low size but high pixels. Like don't get any heavy, because the JPEGs are always heavy size ones, right? Always prefer PNG, right? So let me just go to main activity here. So let us change it to custom button activity. Now let us run this. No. I mean managing in the sense. So if you are actually, so Geeta was asking a question like how to manage different pixel size for an image, right? So different pixel size in the sense you will be getting, you have to draw, I mean if you are actually creating your image, right, you can actually set the pixels if you are actually designing an image in Photoshop, right? So while creating an background itself, right, you can actually give how many pixels of the thing whatever you are going to do, the size of, or the dimensions of pixel you have to mention. So there itself you can create the same image of different, right? But you can't download one image. Yes, you can also download an image. So if you want to see that, right, let me show you one thing here. Let us say let me open this with Office itself. You have one tool which is Microsoft Office picture editor itself. Let me edit picture. You can select this, click on edit picture. Now you can see there is compress picture. Click on that. Now no, not compress picture, resize picture, right? Now you can see this is my original image, which is of 204 by 200 pixels. I'm just talking about if you download any picture and if you want to see how to resize your pixel of image, right, then I'm talking about this. But normally if you're actually working for a corporate, or if you're working for a any app, right, which is proprietary to any company, you should not do this. So all the images should always be, you should not use some image while by downloading it from internet. Why? Because some images will be proprietary. If you use that in your app, right, and if app is going into market, right, then it will be a problem with the company for whom you are actually developing, right? For that, what happens sometimes, what they'll do is the graphic designers, right, they will actually design different logos and images for you. It happens. If you are in a project, right, the logo designer or the background designer or the architect, right, will be different from the one who is actually coding an Android. You will be getting all the images from that guy, right? Now in this case, if you want to resize this, right, there are a few options. You can actually mention your custom width and height. or you can give some percentage. Let us say I'm giving some 50%. You can see new size is 102 by 102. Click on OK. I can just say save as. Let's say I'm giving _1. This is something which is half of the previous pixels. Let's say I'm again taking some something like 25% of the existing. You can see it's 26 pixels. Okay, let's make it as 56. Okay, right now you can see. Let me save as _2. Right, so if you go back to the folder, now you can see there are 3 different pixel. Right, you can see here it's 204 by 204, which is 6.92 KB. Select on this 102 by 102. You can see 3.43 KB, and this 51 by 51. Now in this way you can actually change the image. Now you can see that it looks blurred. If I open it, right, you can see that the picture will look blurred. If you go to the actual picture, you can see it's very clear. Right, you have actually rearranged your pixel size, which means this image you have downloaded, but you won't have the maximum pixel thing. Right, so in that case, right, so but if you want to do, this is how you can actually do using your Microsoft Photo Editor. Right, and you can copy these things. Okay, yeah, Geeta, go ahead.
Unmuted.
Yeah, Geeta, go ahead.
Yeah, Srinath, Srinath, for different devices, I know I was saying, we always don't know what are the screen size or density size of each screen for different devices.
Okay.
And in different orientation.
Okay.
Because say, using tablet, its portrait screen is different from its landscape screen.
Mm-hmm.
But then each time you will have to manage, resize your image and then use it.
No, basically, yes, okay. No, basically how it happens is, see, Geeta, so basically in real time, right, how the images will be like, so you will actually decide whether to develop an app for mobile or tab. Okay. First thing itself is whether you want to actually go for mobile app or a tab app. Fine. Because and sometimes you may have to develop for both, right, where your app should work for both your mobile and for your tab, right? Mm-hmm. So at that moment of time, what will be taking up is you will actually fix up the size of your density pixel size of your control in your app, and what you will be taking is you will actually take high density image into your folder. So what happens is whenever you are actually giving the low height and width in your control, right, what happens automatically, your image will actually shrink and will be clear to the user, right? Now, if you are opening the same image in tab, right, what happens, anyways you have an image of a high density pixel, right? What happens, even if you are giving height and width as more with respect to the pixel size of a tab, right, it will be rearranged and it will look clear. Which means you have to take a density, you have to take image in such a way that it is compatible for tab, which automatically will work for your mobile.
Okay.
Right? But the only thing is, if you are doing so, try to give only one image, right? Don't copy different pixel images. What happens is, like you can see, right? Initially, the image was only 6 KB, right? What happened if I create 3? I'll be copying this, but you can see it almost doubled the size of my abscess, right? Now you can imagine that. So that's why create one image which is of high pixel. If you're not sure of what exactly your app, if you don't know the targeted audience, right? Try to give the pixel of the size of your control, more than size of your control as such, right? Then what happens, Android will automatically use the actual pixel of your image to show to the end user.
Okay.
Fine. So that's what you can do.
Okay.
Fine. So now you can see it automatically arranged the image. The image was not actually this much, right? It actually arranged the image with respect to the direct pixel we have input, right? So when you click on the function will be normal anyways, right? the functioning will be automatically normal when we actually do that part. Fine. So that is what you can do. You can just try once, okay? You can just try once so that you can actually so that you can actually get it fine.
Right.
Okay. So this is how you can actually create custom. But now this is the concept of creating your custom buttons, and now you can actually work on different things, and let me know if you have any questions on this. Fine. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Now let us see how we can actually create a, let's take up with something called custom button. Sorry, custom toast. Very important one. We sometimes, right, won't rely on. We sometimes, right, won't rely on.
If I want to have buttons of different shapes or something, like say the refresh button or the arrow buttons that we have on browsers.
Yes, okay.
Then for that also I should have a download and then manage and then.
Yeah, you can, yes, you can do that, because if you set your background of your button, right, as an arrow, so that will actually, see, you can see the curves also, there is no rectangle in curve, right? Right. If you actually replace the background of your button with an arrow, right, the complete border will automatically become transparent.
Okay.
You can only see the arrow. Right?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay then. So let's move ahead with the toast one. Yes. I'll also show you how to use a spinner with checkbox. I'll do that. Okay, fine then. I'll show you that. Okay, how to use checkbox, right? Once this is done. Fine. I'll show you that. Don't worry. Let me create activity. So here, let me take it as toast first. Toast activity. Right. From this, we will create a toast. So here, let me just take up a button. So this button, let me call it as btn get toast. Let me change show. So let's go to the toast activity. So here, first let us see how the normal toast works. Right? So we have already seen that. So let me take it as a button object. Hello bjptn is equal to find view by id. You have r dot id dot, you have btn get toast. Let me replace that, cast it up. Now here, let me take this dot set on click listener as new on click listener we have here, and then import the view. So here, so let's create a normal toast. So we already have seen the normal toast, but normal toast again, as I said, it's a widget, right? So basically what we did normally is we used to create direct toast and used to do something like dot show, right? In our previous class we have already seen something called set margin. So wherever you want to show the custom, or sorry, the inbuilt toast of Android, you can actually set the margin where you want to show, right? So how to do that is, you have a toast. Let me take it as some lobj tsc toast is equal to, you have your toast dot make, everything will be same, make toast of application context, and just say something, this is toast, and duration will be something. So I am writing this is, we will be following something like this. So if you don't click on dot show, right, so which means it make text will actually return you a toast, so which we are actually handling over here, right? So once this is done, just say toast dot show. So that's why it is actually giving a warning. So once you actually click on show, then it will actually be, now you can see make text method, which is an internal method of your Android widget, right, will actually return you a toast class. We're actually handling the toast class in a separate object, and we are using the show, right? Even this will work. So that is why normally what we do is we create one common class for toast, right? And we normally what we do is we normally call that method from here. So that is what we normally do. So what I'm actually meaning is, let me create a new class here. Let me just say it as CLS toast. So here let me create a method called public void show toast maybe, right? And I'm trying to accept a string, right? So here, so you can see this is my global class, let's say, right? Global class where I've written this class to show the toast. So wherever I want to show, I won't be using this object. I'll be directly calling this CLS toast and show. So let me make it a static class, static method. Now here you can see if I try to take the toast, right, you can see it will actually import my Android. Let me make it as toast t, or I can just say toast.make text, right? Here it says context. So what context you want, right? So as of now, so in current class we are not actually using any context, right? So for that, let us accept context also. Context. Let me make it as cntxt, and we'll give this context to this. And text is something which is illicit data. And duration, let me give it as toast.long.show. Right? So this is how we can actually create a standalone class where you can actually show toast. So what I'll do here, so we don't have to use this. I'll just say toast.show toast. Here's your data. Let's say I'm just giving it as this is toasts, right? And then context, right? You can just say get application context here. Now this is how we normally do. Now what is the use of this? Normally what happens, let us say you have some 30 activities in your app, and in 30 activities you are actually showing 100 different locations. You are actually showing the toast. Now you want to show one common information in all those things. Now what in that case, what actually we should be doing when we use individual? We have to go to each and every toast, change the text, and then we have to show, which will actually the maintenance will become so costly, right? So instead of that, always try to make as centralized as possible, right? So as of now, what we are making a simple show toast where normally what I'm doing is whatever data we are getting, we are just showing that. First, let me run this, and I'll show you what exactly I mean. So let me call it as toast activity. Let me clean this up and let me run this. So it will give us a show. When I click on this, what you can see, this is toast, but we are not actually showing that in my class, right? So now what I'm going to do here is, let us say I'm trying to use, right? So maybe I'll take it as toast 1, toast 2, and 3. Now think about that. Okay, I'm actually using 3 different or 4 different areas. I'm actually showing the toast. Now what happens here when I am using this, which means when I click on button, as of now it will show 4 different toasts, right, with different informations. But sometimes what you have to do is you have to rewrite whatever message you are showing, that you want to prefix or suffix with some information. This will be very important when you are actually developing some commercial apps, right? When I click on show, now you can see these are toast, right? You will see that it is a toast 1 off, right? Something which is now without changing anything, right? As we have written something in common, right? What I can do, I can just append something, which is, let us say, I'm just saying string lstr something called current text, right, is equal to what I can say. Maybe I can just give my company name, maybe it's C semicolon. I want to show this message for all. What I'll do, I'll just say here's the data, which means whoever is actually using this show toast, right, whatever information they are sending, I'm appending each and every toast with some data. This will happen in your real time, definitely. So from now on, we'll use this toast instead of making toast. And again, right, you don't have to actually write complete thing. You can just directly call show toast and give the data and application. This will take care of showing everything. Right. So now let me run this. Now even now we are just sending toast, this toast one and all. That's it. We are not sending anything else. But see, let us see what actually happens here. Right, when I click on show, now you can see you're actually right. So this information is something. So you are just changing at one place, right, and it will be affected, right. So that is how you can actually create a toast, right, which is a show toast. So this is something which is a generalized or centric way of creating something. Now whatever apps you are developing, right, try to generalize business logic as good as possible, because when you actually make a centralized configuration, I mean the MVC model type, right, so that will help you a lot. Controller should be only one, your model should be separate, and view should be separate. Always try to keep your activity as just for view and model, and if you are actually trying to get some interact with database or do some calculations, always try to do in separate class, in a common class, right, where you can actually use the same piece of code if it is useful in some other classes too, where you're actually making some class as an action class or something like model class, right. And controller anyways will be your main activity here, so it will be redirecting from one to other things. That's fine, right. Now this is a normal thing which we are using a inbuilt toast to do that. Now let us see how we can actually build a custom toast. A custom toast in the sense with our own images and our own few things, right. So let me copy one more image here. So let me take this image. So I'll just download this image. I'm just making it as, let me make it as Android Robo something. Right. I just renamed this image. Let me copy this image. And paste it in my drawable. Fine, Android Robo image. Now let me close this toast. Fine. So first let me create an activity. Now whatever I am talking about here is, so when I click on show, right, so as of now we are actually showing a toast which is an inbuilt toast widget of activity, but we are going to build a separate window, right, separate layout. Whatever you do on that layout will be shown as a toast, right. So let me create a separate layout which is an activity here, next, and here let me make it as custom toast activity. Fine, click on finish. Now here let me do like this. So let me drag and drop a text view, right. But first what we'll do, we'll just take up the image, right. Let me create an image view here, right. Now here you can see as soon as I drag and drop image view, right, it will actually ask, okay, what image you want to give for that image view. Let me select maybe, let me select this IC launcher itself. It looks good, right. So you have this IC launcher. Okay. Let us make this line top and all. Fine. Let's keep a simple way. Okay, this is your IC launcher, and let me drag and drop a text view related to that, and in this text view, okay, already we have this. So in this text view, let me give something here. So let me just say this is custom to something, whatever data you want to show, you can actually replace it here, which will be shown over here, right? That is what we are going to do here now, which should be shown over here. These are custom tools. As of now, we just said, okay, these are custom tools which we are drawing. Now, we have created a simple activity which is a layout. Now, you will be wondering, how can we actually render this part, right? I can't show the whole activity, right? I can't show this whole activity as a toast, right? Because it will actually fill up my complete other activity, right? I can't do that. So when I click on this, I should show in some area, right, some content, like which is this content, maybe probably the content which I'm selecting, right? So only we just want to see only this content on top of this when I click on show, right? We'll see how to do that, right? So we have very good options of that. You can actually inflate, which means you can actually get only the controls which you want to show on some other activity, right, using a class called layout inflator. Let's go back to this class. Now here, so we have a show button. Let me take up one more button here. So let's go back. Let me click on this show. Let me just make it as show custom. Make it as BTN show custom. Right. Now here, let's go back and handle that show custom. So you have, let me split up this. So let me create a button first. Hello picture BTN show custom is equal to find view by ID r dot id dot BTN show custom button, right? And then typecast it to button. So now let us create a click event here. Dot set on click listener or clean on click listener here. Right. So in the on click we are going to write some code. This is very important. Right? Fine. Now when I click on this button, I want to show the custom toast, which is my activity, some other activity, as a toast on top of this toast, on top of the screen as such, right? So that is what my main intention is. So let me just type, right? So now let's go back and see. Now the first thing is, what you have to do here is, we have to take an object of layout inflator. We have something called layout inflator. So layout inflator is again a class under your activity API, Android API, not activity, it's an Android API, where let me take it as LOBJ layout inflator. Now layout inflator is nothing but on what is the activity you want to take it as a parent, on which you want to show some other layout. So here, as we are going to show it in a same toast activity, same activity, right? You can just say get layout inflator. You have a direct method under your Android app called get layout inflator. This will actually give you the another activity on which you are going to show some other layout. Now, okay, hopefully till this point you are fine, right? We have created a layout inflator. Now here we want to show a view, right? Let's create a view. Let me call it as something called, let me call it as LOBJ view is equal to, now which one do you need to inflate? Inflate in the sense, which activity do we need to make it as a child control on top of this activity, right? So let us see how we can actually do that part. We have something called li dot, you have an internal method called inflate, right, where you have to give the resource. So this resource is same, which will be taken up as an Android resource, which is r dot So this R is nothing but your Android R. Let me call it as Android dot R dot, we have something called layout dot, you have Android something called, where is that Android? Oops, I'm sorry. Dot inflate resource, you have to use R dot, you have layout, so I'm getting R dot, you have to give com dot widgets R dot dot. So now here you have to give activity, sorry, dot layout, come on man. This layout, which is our widgets layout, right? Dot. Now you can see you have something called activity custom toast, right? You have to give which activity you want to show. So I want to show this activity. Now this layout is nothing but the layout of your XML file. Click on that. This is what you have to take, right? And then the next argument which you have to give is, so under that, which one do you want to make it as a inflated or child one? Now for that, so as of now, so this layout, right, we have created under something called relative layout, right? So you have relative layout here. Let us give some ID to this, because I want to actually take this relative layout, only this part, as a child, where I can show some image and text view on top of my this activity. So let us give this ID as, let me just call it as custom underscore toast. Okay. So custom, oops, I have to give it as @ plus ID, right? You have custom underscore toast, right? So that I can use this in my activity. Now here, how to get that? Because this is a separate control as such, right? Sorry, this is a separate widget as such. I want to get this ID widget to this. How can I get that? We can actually get that as find view by ID. Same method, which is R dot, you have ID dot custom toast. Now here, if you can see here, custom toast is not one widget, right? It is not a one widget. So this is nothing but a group of widgets, or I can also say that this layout which you are going to use is a view group. I have more than one view, right? Because a layout will have more than, you can have more than one, which means this inflate will actually try to get, you can see here, this inflate, right, needs a view group, right? So we are actually giving a custom toast which is a layout where we can actually typecast it to view group, right? Now this is how we basically work. We basically convert the current activity or layout to as view here. Now anyways, we have a view object now. We have converted the complete activity using this little layout. We have taken this as a view group, and we have taken this complete thing as a normal view. We have converted into normal view. Now view is ready with us. So till this part is something which we have converted a child or a separate activity into a simple view. Now let us see how we can actually map it to our toast. Now let us make a toast object again, which is, let me call it as,
Can you explain the layout inflator again?
Sorry, layout inflator. Okay, so layout inflator is used to actually convert a complete layout, right, a complete separate layout into a view, a simple view, right? So a simple view as such. So as of now, so this layout actually contains a header, right? It contains a logo, it contains so many things, right? But we are not actually interested on everything. What we are interested is, we are interested on controls which are under my layout. So as of now, in this activity, layout is nothing but my any layout. It can be anything. As of now, this is my container which is holding the actual image and text which I want to show on some other toast activity. Fine.
whatever the layout which you are giving inside an another layout, like you have a linear layout under the relative layout.
Everything will be, yes. Whatever you create inside, right, will everything will be rendered outside.
No, I'm asking that you have a linear layout under the relative layout. I don't want the relative layout. I just want the linear layout.
Yes. Yes. You can give whatever ID you want right inside. You can actually give that. So that particular thing will be rendered as a. Fine, Sandhya?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You can try out that. Okay, concept is this. Yes, you can actually try with that. Okay, we'll see what you are getting. Fine. Okay, so here you can create a new toast. Now application context again. Now this is a toast object which I have created. Now to this toast we will have to set some parameters. So let me just set the first parameter, which is my toast dot. First let us set duration. Duration will make it as maybe long, and then immediately let's set the view. You can see that for a toast you can actually set a view. We have already I said we'll be checking this out in our custom toast, right? So it needs a view. Select on that. Now we have to give this view. Let me copy this and paste it here. Now this is a view which I am going to show. And then where to show this, right? Where do you want to place this on a screen? Now for that you have one interview method called set gravity. Can you see this set gravity is nothing but where do you want to place that. So let us place it in you have a class called gravity dot. So you can select anything you want. Let me select center vertical, right, and the offset. Let's give offset as 0, 0. Let it show at center of the screen, right? So this is center gravity, which are where actually you are placing the view which you are assigning it as a toast. So once it is done, the last step is to show that. Toast dot show. There are three different parts here. First part is this. What we are doing is we are actually converting our layout, separate layout where we have created, into this. Now there is one more thing, Sandhya. If you are planning for any inner layout and you want to show that, right, then you don't have to actually create a separate toast to show, right? So you are actually creating this activity so that you can actually show this as a toast, which means you can create, if you are actually intending it for something else, you can create separate thing, right? You don't have to create this again in this. You don't have to combine this artworks. Normally we don't. Yeah?
We can write in any other layout and take that layout as a custom toast.
Yes. You can do that. Yeah. If you are creating any activity, in order to show it as a custom layout, always maintain that as a custom, right? Because if you load it with some other functional, right, then it's gonna be a headache again, right? Yeah. Fine, but yes, technically, yes, you can do that. Technically, if you are actually creating layout inside one more linear, inside if you are creating one more layout, and if you give the next layout's ID, then that will be taken as a view over here. But because you are actually giving, you want to inflate in this toast, you are actually giving which ID to make it as a view, and that will only be considered as a view. Fine, Sandhya? Okay. So let me run this.
Srinath.
Yeah, Sandhya?
Hi, Srinath.
Yeah.
This is Gita here, Srinath.
Yeah, Gita.
What are more scenarios where we'll have to use layout inflator?
In which scenarios you mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you want, in which scenarios, in sense, if you want, see, if you are creating anything, right, if you want complete all the group of controls as a separate view, right, so in that case, you can actually use that. But inflate, you see, if any control is accepting a complete view to add as a single standalone view, you can actually use inflate over there, right? So as we are going to see one more thing, as Sandhya was asking, right? We'll check out one thing called list view, where we are going to club multiple controls in one slot, right? There, even there, we'll be creating a separate layout for that one slot, basically, right? That for that one slot, we'll have to create a separate layout where we'll actually keep multiple controls. For each and every slot, we are going to render that layout and place it as a one slot. So those slots will be multiplied based on the multiple information we are going to show. So that is how anything works. Even it can be a grid view, anything, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And Shreyas, once you create a view using layout,
Your voice is too low, Gita. I can't hear your voice. What is it? Let me increase the volume. Okay.
Now we are gonna show using toast, right?
Yes.
So
I'm going to use this toast class, right, to show this view on top of this activity, current activity.
Yeah. So now I would like to ask, can any other component or say using intent, can you show this view? Can you pass this view to somebody?
Any other component as such? I mean, you mean separate list view or something?
Yeah, say some list view or button.
Yes. You can see wherever you can use this view component, right? Everywhere you can actually embed this view into that components. You can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
You can do that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let me click on this show. So it will show this. So let me click on this show custom. So when I click on this show custom, one sec, maybe it is busy. Okay, so this will appear here. Anyways, the placing was not correct. You can place accordingly. That's fine. Let me place on the top. Let me rebuild this. See, have you noticed one thing? When I clicked on show, right? When I clicked on show, so there were toasts being shown, and when I clicked again on show custom, right? It was waiting till the other toasts were completing. Have you got why? Have you got the reason why it was showing?
No. It's acting as a thread.
Because for both the toasts we are giving the same application context. Can you remember? Even if you can see here, even for this I'm giving the same application context, which means unless this is completed, right? This action is completed, it won't allow some other toast action to do. Right? So that's why it is actually showing up in that way. That's fine. When I click on show custom, you can see this. Doesn't matter why it is shuffling. You can actually, it all depends on how you are actually arranging the controls. Now you can see it will show for some time. Now you can see this was actually a complete activity as such in your it's a complete activity window, but you are actually getting only few things you want. Let me add one more button here maybe. Let me delete this and maybe let me add an image view here, and let me take some button here, right, which I'm gonna arrange in this way, right? Let us say I'm arranging with respect to relative to this Android thing, which is below image view 1. Perfect. Center horizontal, margin top. Perfect, right? So I have taken multiple controls now. So previously I had one text view and all. I'm just replacing with something else. Let me clean this up. Right. Click on show custom. It will actually show you the actual activity and it will go. Fine. So that's how